Are you running your own business? I have one question for you that will show whether you're doing marketing right in your business. Can you name 3 problems and 3 concerns of your potential client in 30 seconds? If you answered that question without hesitation, congratulations. That means you know your buyer persona perfectly, but people like you are in the minority. Most beginning entrepreneurs don't have a clearly defined buyer persona. We belonged to that group too when we started our wall printing business. That's why today I'll tell you how to create one so you don't make the same mistakes we did. If you don't know us yet, hi! I'm Rafa from Wall Printers. For over 3 years, we've been running a company that delivers wall printing projects. On this channel, we educate about the wall printing industry and show you how to enter this field and successfully build a business around this service. Let's get started. Many beginning entrepreneurs in the wall printing industry make the same mistake. They try to reach every potential customer at once. When you start a business, you want to maximize your chances of getting clients, so you target everyone. This seems logical, but unfortunately, such an approach brings the opposite results. If you speak to everyone, you reach no one. Precisely defining your ideal client and focusing on a specific market niche can radically increase the effectiveness of your marketing and sales activities and will help you create consistent communication. So how do you find and describe your buyer persona? I'll show you step by step in today's episode. A buyer persona is a detailed, semi-fictional profile of your ideal client. This isn't dry demographic data, but a complete picture of a person, their goals, challenges, concerns, and decision-making process. It's a tool that helps you understand exactly who you're targeting with your offer. Why is a buyer persona crucial for wall printing business and every business in general? It allows you to create marketing messages that truly resonate with your audience. It helps you better understand customer needs and adjust your offer accordingly. It directs your marketing activities, which translates to lower customer acquisition costs. And it saves time and money that would otherwise be wasted reaching the wrong audience. To create a comprehensive buyer persona, you need to think about your ideal customer as a real person with a complete life story.
Start with the basics, like their age, gender, where they live, their education level, what they do for work, and how much they earn. But don't stop there. These demographic details are just the foundation.
Next, dig deeper into who they really are. What are their interests and hobbies? What do they value in life? What kind of lifestyle do they lead? Understanding these psychographic elements helps you see what drives them and shapes their worldview. Then consider what keeps them up at night. What are they trying to achieve? What problems are they struggling with? What motivates them to look for solutions like yours? And what obstacles are standing in their way? You also need to understand how they prefer to communicate. Do they spend time on Instagram or LinkedIn? Do they read emails or prefer phone calls? Knowing their preferred communication channels helps you reach them where they actually are. Finally, think about how they make purchasing decisions. How often do they buy services like yours? What factors influence their choices? Do they research extensively online first, or do they prefer personal recommendations? So what does this look like in practice? Creating buyer personas is something you can expand on over time. Start by describing what you know. For example, your buyer personas for wall printing business might look like this. Emma, boutique coffee shop owner, 31 years old, higher education, runs a small but trendy coffee shop in the city center. Income above national average. Goal? To stand out from competition and create an Instagram-worthy space that attracts young customers. Her problem is limited renovation budget. She needs quick interior refresh. The biggest concern is, will the result match her vision? Looks for inspiration on Instagram and Pinterest. Values creativity and design. Mark, interior architect. 52 years old, higher education, specialized, runs his own design studio. High income. Goal? To offer clients unique finishing solutions. His problem might be that he needs a reliable subcontractor with non-standard solutions. Concern? Will the execution quality satisfy demanding clients? He finds contacts through networking and recommendations and values professionalism, punctuality, and execution quality. Over time, as you get to know your customers better, you can add more details. Remember, the most reliable source of information about clients are the clients themselves. It's worth asking them about various details. For example, how they found your service, what convinced them to use wall printing, and most importantly, what problem they were trying to solve. So how do you actually use buyer personas in your day-to-day marketing? Once you know your ideal customer, everything becomes much clearer. You start adapting your language and messaging on social media to match how they actually communicate. You create content that directly addresses their specific problems and needs rather than generic posts that try to appeal to everyone. You'll also know exactly where to find them. Instead of spreading yourself thin across every platform, you focus on the communication channels where your persona actually spends their time. When showcasing your work, you'll present projects that will genuinely appeal to your specific persona. And this extends to all your marketing materials too. You'll know how to adjust your portfolio to highlight the right projects, what case studies to prepare that resonate with their situation, and which elements to emphasize when communicating with different types of clients. Here's my advice. Start with just 1 or 2 buyer personas. Trust me on this. When you focus on fewer personas, your marketing message stays consistent and targeted. You're addressing exactly those problems that actually concern your ideal customer, not trying to solve everyone's problems at once. This prevents complete chaos in your communication, which is especially important when your buyer personas are very different from each other. Think about our examples, Emma and Mark. They have completely different needs, budgets, and communication styles. Trying to create one message that appeals to both would be nearly impossible and would probably appeal to neither. By the way, we'll definitely dive much deeper into buyer personas in our upcoming course, How to Profit from Wall Printing, which will soon be available as part of the starter package for all our clients. Buyer persona and niche are two sides of the same coin. They influence each other in interesting ways. Sometimes choosing a niche determines who your target customer will be. Other times, really understanding your buyer persona can point you toward a profitable niche you hadn't considered before. So what exactly is a niche? And why should you care? Think of a niche as a specialized corner of the market with very specific needs. Instead of trying to be everything to everyone, you become the go-to expert for one particular type of project. Here's the thing. It's much easier to be the number one choice in a narrow niche than to compete with everyone else for generic wall printing jobs. When you specialize, you build a reputation quickly, and satisfied customers in that niche start recommending you to others facing similar challenges. Let me give you some examples of niches that work well in wall printing. You could focus on cafes and restaurants, helping them create Instagram-worthy spaces, or maybe artistic prints for luxury homes where budget isn't the main concern. Educational facilities like kindergartens and schools are always looking for engaging, colorful environments. Medical offices and clinics want something calming and professional. Corporate offices need branding and motivational designs. So how do you choose your niche? Start by looking at your past work. Which projects gave you the most satisfaction and brought in the best profit? Then check out the competition in your area. Some niches might be oversaturated while others are completely untapped. Don't forget to consider your own interests and experience. Do you have connections in a particular industry? Your existing network and knowledge can give you a huge advantage. Finally, think about the business potential. How many potential customers are in each niche? How often do they need your services? What's the typical project value? Answers to these questions are very helpful when you're trying to decide which niche is the right one for your business. Here's an example where buyer persona and niche come together beautifully. If your buyer persona is luxury homeowners who value unique art, then your natural niche becomes high-end artistic residential projects. But if your persona is cafe owners looking to create social media buzz on a tight budget, then you'd focus on the gastronomy niche, with eye-catching designs that photograph well. I hope that if you didn't have a described buyer persona until now, this video has encouraged you to create one and shown you where to start. In the near future, our channel will feature a lot of business content because we're soon launching our course, How to Make Money with Wall Printing. And the best part? The course will be available to all of our clients. In this course, we'll go through everything related to effective marketing and selling of this service. We know that lack of knowledge in this area is the biggest problem for wall printers, which is why we're providing this knowledge to our community. If you're convinced that wall printing is for you and want to learn more about getting started, click the link in the description and fill out the contact form. We'll get in touch, answer all your questions, and guide you through the whole process. See you in the next video. Bye.